The thing is that I knew that if I wanted to borrow $1 million with bad credit, it would be harder for me to actually gather all the funds from one lender, right? So what I did was I actually started looking at three or four, and in some cases even seven business lenders to kind of help me out because I mean, with a FICO score of a 360 or 350, it will be very complicated for me to actually go to one lender and say, listen, please give me $1 million. Okay. I mean, my business is doing fine. So I had no problem actually justifying the potential revenue. But my credit score actually, well, my personal credit score was dragging me down. Okay. So I first went to On Deck. The cool thing about On Deck is that I knew that On Deck actually is pretty strict when it comes to paperwork. So they asked me a couple of things. They asked me financial statements. They asked me to provide my business documentation, like my LLC articles of incorporation. People like my business partners. I mean, we were three in the business, so I had to provide my paperwork, my information. I mean, I own more than 50% of the business, but also the other two partners had to also show their equity stake in the business. So on deck, it's pretty good in terms of giving you the money real fast, but they really ask you they ask for some paperwork, okay? And with on deck, I was able to get $250,000. So that's pretty good because I knew that if I wanted to get $1 million, I needed to actually scratch here and there and get a quarter of a million from on deck was pretty good. What I love about on deck is that they are really willing to go as low as 500 in FICO score. But if you have the right paperwork, the right revenue, the right financial statements, they can actually go all the way to 300. So I got 250 from on deck, and then I went to Fora Financial. The thing about Fora Financial is that basically you have a lender that's very generous. And the cool thing about Fora Financial is that they will give you a maximum of $1.5 million. Okay. But I did not get the $1.5 million from them. I wish I did. No. I got also a quarter of a million from them. But the cool thing about Fora Financial is that they will fund you real fast. Fora usually it takes about 2 days, maximum 3 days to actually fund you, and they will go all the way to 350, 325 in terms of FICO score. So if you have bad credit like me, you actually stand a chance to get something from Fora Financial. And Fora Financial, like I said, the maximum you can get through them is $1.5 million. So that's really good. Another lender that I went to when I was trying to borrow $1 million with bad credit was Blue Vine. Now, Blue Vine actually is pretty good, but Blue Vine is stricter than any lender that I have actually approached. The only reason I was able to get 50 grand. I mean, Blue Vine they give you a maximum of $250,000, but I was only able to get 50 grand from them, and that's because I have a banking relationship with Blue Vine. Okay, I've been with them. I have a business checking account with them, and that really helped me big time. If I didn't have that, I really doubt that I will be getting anything from them because Blue Vine is pretty strict. I mean, this is a pretty well-run company. I mean, I love them, but they are so strict that if you have bad credit, you better have a more assets. Let's say more information that really shows that your business has potential for them to really rely on you or to bank on you, if you will. But I was able to get 50 grand from Blue Vine. So that's pretty good because it really helped me actually get closer to my goal of getting $1 million. Okay. And I also, Blue Vine also, they want you to have a higher minimum FICO score. So if you have, let's say, 300, 350, you'll find Blue Vine more complicated. I also went to Takeover Financial. This is another lender that I was where I was able to get $200,000. I mean, I love Takeover Financial not just because they're very generous. I mean, Takeover will give you a maximum of $5 million. So if your goal is to actually borrow $1 million with bad credit, you can actually get all that loan from Takeoff Financial because the maximum is 5 million. Okay, but I was able to get only $200,000, And there was a reason to that. That's because they were asking me to be in business for many years. Okay, and I was like, okay, well, I don't really reach that. I don't really fulfill that condition. Okay, so the longer you are in business, the better it is for Takeoff Financial or even other institutions out there. Okay, so I was able to bag $200,000 through Takeoff Financial, and the cool thing that I love also is that Takeoff, kind of similar to Fora Financial, is pretty fast in terms of funding you. So that's really good because you can get your cash real fast, and you can just go about your business, do use the cash for what you need the cash for in the first place. So another lender that I went to actually get the rest of the money actually is National Funding. And with National Funding, I was able to get $250,000. So that really helped me reach the $1 million that I had. Okay. And what I love about National Funding is that you have a lender that's been around for a while now. Okay. So the thing about National Funding is that National Funding actually does a great job in terms of funding you real fast. They'll give you a maximum of half a million. So I love that. But they only give me a $250,000. Okay, but that was all I needed anyway to reach my $1 million. And what I love about National Funding is that basically no collateral is required. Okay, they have a pretty streamlined loan process, loan application process. Do you have no collateral? They don't ask you for any collateral, of course. They actually they will fund you within 24 to 48 hours, and there are no penalties for paying off your loan early, which was pretty important for me because the last thing I wanted actually, I mean, to pay extra penalties for being a good borrower because I knew that my business will generate revenue real fast, and I wouldn't need to like the 5 to 10 years that they gave me in terms of repayment windows at all those lenders. I will be paying the loan even earlier. So that was really important for me from the get go. That was actually my plan A and my plan B and my plan C all the way to plan Z anyway to pay the loan real fast. So that's something to really think about. So long story short, I got the loan from OnDeck, Fora Financial, Blue Vine, Takeover Financial, and National Funding. Not from one particular lender, but from five. And this is something that you want to think about if you have bad credit and you are looking for a business loan. Just remember that not one. It's pretty rare lenders that actually can fund you principally, especially if you are looking for a large loan amount. If you're looking for a 7 digits, it might be a little complicated, especially if you have bad credit. Other lenders that I actually reached out to, but I didn't really get the loan from them. But that was because I was already approved at all the other five. But I did reach out to Fundbox. I reached out to Credibly. I reached out to Outline also. The reason why I love those, and the reason why I wanted to talk to you about them is that they approved me actually. Okay, it was just because I didn't really want to borrow from too many lenders, and I didn't really need that much. My business didn't really need that much money. But the cool thing about Fundbox is that if you were to ever go to them, they ask fewer questions. So Fundbox is not really a no doc or a low doc business, but but it's pretty close, okay. And also, the this institution has been around for a while. They're not gonna give you a lot of cash. I mean, they will give you a maximum of $150,000, okay. Some people might say, well, that's too low. Some might say that's so high. But what I love about Fundbox is that they have a proven track record. Okay, and so in my case, if I wanted to get $150,000 from them, I could easily get that because I have the relationship already. Their minimum credit score is higher. They do not actually approve you if you have a low, like a very low credit score. But the cool thing is that if you are able to establish a relationship with them, that's kind of cool. And also, Fundbox does something that I love a lot. They have a very short time and business requirements, so they will review your application if you have been in business for 3 months. Okay, in other words, if you are a brand new startup, you can really get funded through Fundbox. Okay, and next day funding is available also. That's really good. And but the only thing is with Fundbox, they want to really pay the cash real fast. Like they have term length from 3 to 6 months. Can you imagine that? You borrow $150,000 and you have to repay that amount in 3 or 6 months, 3 to 6 months. So you better generate sufficient cash inflows. You better generate a lot of revenue to be able to actually afford, quote unquote, afford their repayment schedule. Okay, and they do not fund all industries either. So if you are interested in Fundbox, just you want to give them a call first so you have a clear idea about what kind of industries they fund and what others they do not fund. So minimum time in business 3 months, okay, and minimum annual revenue $30,000. So you got to really generate at least $30,000 for Fundbox to even look at your application. Another lender that I actually considered, even though I didn't get any funding from them, was I mean, again, I'm sharing this with you in case you have bad credit and you are trying to borrow $1 million, just to know that the options are out there. There are lenders out there who wants your business, okay? And Credibly is one of them. And what I love about Credibly is that they can give you loans from 25,000 all the way to $600,000, and the APR is pretty decent too. You're looking at 10% all the way to 20%. So with Credibly, the thing is that they don't really charge you your traditional APR. They charge you something called a factor rate. So a factor rate is actually it's just another way to say, you know what, we're charging you interest. For instance, if you have a 1.11 factor rate, that means your APR actually is 11%, give or take. Okay, I mean the calculation can be complex, but I'm just simplifying the whole operation for you. And with Credibly, the thing is that you can actually get a loan that will last, if you will, up to 24 months. So the repayment window will be 24 months for you, which is pretty good anyway because you have a lot of flexibility that way. And minimum credit score through Credibly is 500, 500 to 550. Okay, and so same day funding is available. With Credibly, you have low credit score requirements, and you also have a lender that actually offers multiple loan options, such as Fora or such as T-Core Financial. So that's kind of cool because then you have a lot of flexibility. You have a lot of a lot of possibilities too. Minimum time in business with Credibly 6 months, and minimum annual revenue. This is way higher than what Fundbox was asking for. Fundbox was asking for $30,000. Credibly is asking you for 6 times that. So it's $180,000 for a working capital loan and $240,000 for the business line of credit. So next you have Outline. So if you're looking for a lender that can help you actually borrow up to $1 million business loan with bad credit, think about Outline. And Outline is actually affiliated. I mean, it's not affiliated. It's a subsidiary of a traditional bank. Okay, and this is the Southern Bank. Okay, Southern Bank Company. And because of that affiliation, you can actually get funded for a large loan amount. So with the Outline, you can actually qualify for a maximum loan amount of $5 million. So this is pretty good. This is really good, not only from a flexibility point of view, but also from an affordability point of view. Okay, and so Outline is primarily actually an invoice or accounts receivable factoring company. So this is not your traditional lender, if you will. Okay, this is like you got to have revenue. You got to have revenue for this lender to work with you. If you have no sales, you can't really go through. You cannot go to Outline and be funded. So you have an advanced rate that can go all the way to 90%. The starting interest rate can be a 0.75 factor fee. Okay. And also, you have, so there is no minimum credit score because all the funding program, let's say, relies on sales. Okay. So outline actually funds startups and bad credit borrowers, and you have the affiliation of the affiliation to an established banking institution. Okay, so that's kind of cool. But the whole funding process can be very expensive because if you think about origination fees, you think about wire fees, you think about file fees. I mean, a lot of stuff. Okay, and also basically the funding program is slightly longer compared to competitors because again they you have the affiliation to a traditional bank, so you really have to count. You have to count more days or more months, not months, more days or weeks. So that's it for if you want to borrow $1 million business loan with bad credit. Okay, but one thing I want you to really understand here is that what I did is not just reach out to the right lender. Okay, I did way more than that. I mean, there is work you got to do first. There's work you can do, and there's work that the lender will help you do. The first type of work you can do is to actually to be you want to be sure that you are borrowing the right amount. In other words, you want to calculate how much debt you can afford because see, the thing is, I wanted 1 million, but I was able to afford. I was able to borrow way more. Okay, but why did I actually ended up? Why did I end up actually with less? Because I knew that I wanted to really keep my business finances in top shape. So I was able to borrow 5 million, but I said no. Let me just borrow 1 million, and that's the kind of strategy I want you to really have. Okay, so simply because you can borrow 5 million doesn't mean you have to borrow 5 million, because you always got to have a certain cushion, so what I call a liquidity cushion. So if something were to happen, at least your business is actually covered. Did you see what happened during COVID, for instance, a couple of years ago? Those companies that were really leveraged, they really borrowed too much. They were forced to close shop because when you are really leveraged, when you are over leveraged, you don't have any room for error anymore. And this is something that I really did not want to have. Okay, so you always want to have some cushion. So you want to calculate how much debt you can afford. You want to check your credit score. That's important. Simply because I knew I have bad credit didn't really prevent me from checking my credit score because I wanted to make sure that my 350 that I had in my mind was exactly what I where I was still at. Maybe your credit score went up or maybe it went down. So you always want to check your credit score, okay? And you want to as you're trying to borrow $1 million or less or more, you have to work concurrently. You have to work at the same time at increasing your FICO score, right? This has to be something simultaneous. And also, what you want to do is you want to maybe consider a cosigner. I mean, in my case, I didn't need no cosigner because my business was profitable enough. But if you don't have a profitable business, maybe you might need a cosigner to kind of help you out to really get the funding that you need. And the cosigner can actually help you get a larger loan amount too. So that's something to really think about. So in conclusion to this conversation, I explained to you how I borrowed $1 million business loan with bad credit. Okay, I spoke about those business loan lenders, and then gave you a little bit of context too. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.